evening, guys, and welcome back to another edition here on the NE Patriots Talk channel. Hope you guys are having an awesome day. Thank you so much for taking this time to watch the Patriots Vikings post-game recap. And in that game, I would say it was one of the more sloppier wins, I would say. Even though last week we had an impressive win, this week we had a little more sloppy. I don't know how to describe the ending because the final minute of that game was crazy. My seat was burning.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly.
But
an 81-yard punt return, and I mean, I forget who caught that, who had that ball, but the fact it didn't wind up in the end zone was pretty remarkable.
Exactly, but as usual, you got your captain DTN, and I got my subordinates Andy and Thomas. Basically, a different hosting a panel roster. I would say you obviously you've seen these three before, but with the different hosting like combination. But how are we boys doing?
We're doing pretty good. You know, another hot day at work. It's August. I work in retail, so I work on the weekends, which depending on, I mean, we were actually fairly busy today. So even though it was warm, we had customers coming in buying things, which was nice. So I did, of course, take the time to listen to the game when I could, and it played out kind of like a close barn burner of a regular postseason game. But yeah, Dal, like you said, it was sloppy. There were iffy calls. It was, we were the recipient of, and honestly, I watched the final play of that game. You guys hopefully both caught it. I don't know if you did, but we'll get to that later. You can argue there were iffy calls for both teams, but I don't know. I can't say it was not interesting. Let me put it that way.
Yeah. How about you, Thomas?
Sore after a golf outing today. 80 degrees out there in where I live. Banged up, but I'm still alive. I did watch the final 2 minutes of that game.
Sorry, Thomas, you want to crank your volume up a tiny bit? Sorry, buddy.
I can adjust it if you want, so I can.
But yeah, I just watched the last 2 minutes of that game. Honestly, yeah, I could see what you guys understand about the ending. But I'm just going to discuss my take on that when we get to that point.
Okay. Yeah. But before we get started with the show, please make sure as you come in, please make sure that you smash the like button and hit subscribe. It's completely free and helps us grow as an entire community. We appreciate the support from all of you guys. And throughout the show, please post in your questions and comments in the YouTube chat. It's posted down in the right side if you're watching on your this side if you're watching from your laptop, or on your phone you can scroll down or whatever. But just interact with us as you're watching this live post-game recap. But let's start with like the whole spiel of this. Like, let's talk about the general before we like break down with like offense, defense, and special teams. You know how the format goes. But well, that game, like I said before, that game was really, really sloppy on all sides of the ball. Well, yeah, technically, but I did have my notes for that game. So basically, as we all know, that Stephon Diggs and Morgan Moses were inactive for that game on the side of the Patriots, and then for the Vikings, we were not surprised that JJ McCarthy will be out for that game because Kevin O'Connell announced it himself. And then I just learned that Jordan Addison is out because I would presume it has to do something with the suspension, but I can.
Yep.
Yeah, it has to.
Didn't Jordan Addison? Did he play a drive? No.
No.
No, he didn't.
No, that was Alexander Madison. Was Madison still with the Vikings? Alexander Madison?
No, he's with the Dolphins.
Oh boy.
You're thinking of Aaron Jones, right? Or
Aaron, I swore I heard one of those names in a game recap, but anyway, move on.
Aaron Jones is not even at that game. It's all I see.
But let's talk about the before we get started with like the whole like players in general, but let's talk about the penalties. How did you feel about 7 penalties compared to the 2 penalties that we had last week?
I mean, I'll say this. It's way better than what we had last season, which is completely ridiculous. The pointless penalties, like I didn't watch the whole game because I was at a golf outing, but what I heard, the penalties is just really hurts the team here, and I'm pretty sure Vrabel's gonna tell the team that there's something about to fix or get rid of those penalties. So yeah.
How about you, Andy?
Yeah, I honestly wasn't. I'm not gonna lie, like you, Thomas. I did not. What the heck?
Yep.
I just stalled.
Yeah, you're free. We can still hear you, but your screen is frozen.
Yeah, your screen is frozen.
I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, you could just turn off your camera if you want, but we can still hear you.
Okay.
But just continue with your take, Andy. On your
let me try doing that. I'll turn my cam off anyway. There I go. But gosh, I have to find a profile photo. But I was not aware until you guys mentioned the 7 penalties because Thomas, like you, I did not catch the whole game. And obviously, also like you said, it was not as bad as last year. But for a team that needs to cut down on being penalized, it was not an ideal thing to hear. I to be honest, I don't even know. I think what was it? I remember Drake drew a penalty, and was that for offsides?
Yeah, the delay of game. That I remember the delay of game.
There
were a couple of holding penalties which I was not pleased about, like one on Tyrese Robinson. I know
there were a couple of really. That's what I was talking about in our prologue. Was like 1 or 2. I remember Perry and Sosi talking about this very questionable defensive holding calls at the second, like right before the top of the second half. It was like, okay, like those should not have been called, but at the same time the player did something stupid. So that's something that Vrabel and Coor and McDaniels are going to need to work on. And
like, are there any like pre-snap penalties like freaking what is it? False start on us?
Oh my gosh, I hated that false start penalty. It was
that was on the offensive line, wasn't it?
No, it was on Javon Baker.
Oh, him. Yeah, and we'll get to him later too.
Yeah, we'll get to him later, but yeah.
He's out, dare we say.
He's gone. It doesn't matter which quarterback you pair him up with, he's gone.
And he didn't have the promising special teams plays that he made last week either. So that will have to be something that Vrabel will be taking a hard and close look at during cutdown time.
Also, during that, so basically when it comes to like the offense, let's start with the offense. We're going to skip with the coaching because we have a general idea of what the coaching looks like. But compared to the 48 points that we scored, this time we have 20. But that's just because we were going up against Brian Flores's aggressive defense. But I want you to answer this, Andy. What were your thoughts on Josh McDaniels' offensive play calling against former defensive play caller Brian Flores, I would say?
I actually Let me say this. I really liked the Henderson drive. I kind of like how he spiced it up. He diversified it. It's not like, this plain vanilla that we've seen for the past 2 or 3 years. It's like, okay, I'm going to throw in, a run play here. I'm going to throw in a pass play here. I was looking at, I think Drake May threw for only like either 41 or 47 yards, something like that. I didn't look at the stats for the other two quarterbacks, but
Yeah, I got you for that.
thanks, Thomas. But yeah, my point was basically the diversification of the offense is back. And again, I'm jumping the gun a little bit here. There's some talk that, is McDaniel's offense a little difficult for Drake May? Well, May is very... Thomas here chuckling. Why?
It's an understatement, honestly.
An understatement? How?
It's not difficult for May to understand. Once he learned the system throughout the preseason, then you'll find out that this would be simple.
I have faith he'll catch up. I mean, it is the preseason, and this is the local, dare I say, the local media jumping the gun again on a particular player. But for the most part, I mean, yeah, I think 20 points was... We did go up against that Flores defense, but I think
the only
McDaniels...
difference with the Flores defense, we didn't go up against Greenyard, we didn't go up against Andrew Van Ginkel, we didn't go up against Byron Murphy, we didn't go up against John Metellus. But then again, Brian Flores' philosophy is to go after the quarterback regardless.
Correct.
So I actually do have the stats for the quarterback. So compared to the previous stats that the quarterbacks made in the previous game.
I'm so sorry. This is driving me nuts.
I don't know what's going on with your screen, man, but we can still hear you. That's the thing.
I don't know. Well, I don't know what's going on with my computer right now.
Would you rather call through your phone and then we'll just continue with the discussion? Oh, never mind.
For the sake of the stream, let's just keep it the way it is. I mean,
let's just keep it up. We don't want to piss some fans off and be...
Yeah, let's
continue. So Drake May went 4 out of 7 compared to 3 out of 5. Joshua Dobbs looked a little better, but that was because Effton Chisum. I'm just gonna say his name. Effton
Chisum. Exactly, Effton Chisum.
Saved Dobbs' ass. And then you got Ben Woldridge, who wasn't bad, but not the best like he did against Washington Commanders. Granted that they were up against the second string and third string, so the passing game did look a lot better. However, there were still some flaws on that passing game offense. So what were your thoughts on Drake May's performance this game compared to last game, Andy?
Drake May, I can say this about Drake May. He did not have any turnovers, which was a plus. He did throw a little bit high. I think one throw, if I pull it up right here, one of those throws was intended for...
Even John said himself, I do wish there were more TDs and that our QB would stop throwing so high.
So high, yeah. I mean, it's better than underthrowing, but his first throw, it says he hit Matt Collins for 12 yards on the first play, and then it was Pop Douglas. The ball was overthrown and nearly picked off. But obviously that drive went 3 and out. The next drive obviously ended with the 8-yard Henderson touchdown. But like I said, May only threw for 40 some odd yards.
46.
46. All right. Thank you. Yeah. 46 right here. 4 of 7 for 46, which again, he only played 2 drives. So it's not terrible. I understand why Vrabel wouldn't want to give May more of an opportunity in these preseason games, but I kind of would like to see him get more of an opportunity because, like, maybe say with Effton Chisum on the field. But let me just say, I did like there were no turnovers, but I didn't like the what was the call again? I can't remember.
Let me scroll back through the gameplay. So basically, there was the delay of game. After an incomplete pass to Pop, I felt like Pop didn't during these joint practices against Minnesota. He didn't look good, and it showed. But it was just because Pop was for some reason had like a bad week. But I digress. But yeah, there was a delay of game penalty, and then after that, it made a play to Booty. Which was a good play. At least Booty got some attention, I would say. But then,
correct,
yes.
But then that miss to Trevion Henderson.
There was a miss to Trevion Henderson too. Oh, that's right, another overthrow. Yeah,
and then in that touchdown, the incomplete pass, and then the other incomplete pass was a throwaway. So that was a good move on him. But
that's a good move. Throwaway. Don't take either take the sack or throw it away. Don't get stripped.
Right.
Correct.
Also, exactly. I love how Drake May gave Mac Hollins some production. Mac Hollins, and I know, Thomas, we alluded to this in the call during the game that I didn't understand why people want Mac Hollins gone. Look what he did against what he did when he played for Buffalo or during that tenure in Las Vegas with Josh McDaniels. He made plays when games really matter in certain situations. I just didn't understand why fans want to get rid of Mac Hollins so soon, given that we gave him a 2-year, $4 million deal. But do you think that Mac Hollins should have another chance, or is he solidifying a lock for a 53-man roster? You answer this, Thomas, because we talked about this.
Yeah, you and I talked about this at the Discord VC, and yes, of course, give a chance at the 53 roster, like you said. On his tender with Buffalo and with Las Vegas with Josh McDaniels, he makes plays when he needs it the most. Despite what quarterback you have, Derek Carr or Josh Allen, who's your MVP last season. Whatever quarterback you have here, Mac Hollins is a dependable wide receiver that you can get the ball to. He's a reliable wide receiver that you need on the deep play or the red zone or hell, touchdowns even. This guy needs to be in the roster, despite what other Patriots fans say.
He's also a bigger wide receiver, which you don't exactly have, especially with Chisum, Boutte, or Pop.
Yes.
Do we like those guys? Of course we do, but you also want that sizable wide receiver. I mean, when you think of let's look up the heights for Jettis or AJ Brown. In fact, I can do that.
I'll do Jettis, you do AJ Brown.
Okay.
So for Jettis, not Volkswagen Jettis, I'm looking for Jettis Jefferson.
Correct.
Brown
is 6'1", 226.
Jefferson is 6 foot 1 inch, 195 pounds.
He's only 195.
Yep.
So Brown's bigger. Brown is 226. Brown is a big wide receiver.
And Mike Vrabel drafted AJ Brown, and we would have had a chance to get AJ Brown, but Eagles wanted him. He's the true asset for the Eagles. Yep. So
Yeah, Mac Hollins, 6'4", 221.
6'4", so he's freaking tall, yo.
And what's interesting about Mac Hollins, he went to the same school that Drake May went to.
He was out of North Carolina. Look at that.
Yep.
And
but
also,
yeah,
I have a buddy at work, and his cousin is from Rochester, New York, a big Bills fan, and was very upset when they lost Mac Hollins. A lot of Buffalo fans apparently really wanted him to stay, and that is because, like you said, Thomas, he's a massive red zone threat. We saw that when he played in Vegas too under McDaniels. And
yes, exactly.
He had a terrific what is against us a couple of years ago. I think that was a special teams play he had against us. Remind me of that.
I believe so.
I know that Mac Hollins did make plays even in the playoffs, especially up against Baltimore. I still remember that Baltimore-Buffalo game. I have a friend who is a Baltimore Ravens fan. No, I'm no longer friends with him due to some personal reasons, but I watched that game. Mac Hollins made plays on that Baltimore defense. Granted that the Baltimore defense did regress ever since Mike Macdonald got promoted as head coach for the Seattle Seahawks. So, but then again, Mac Hollins did make plays when they count, especially in the playoffs. And that's what we want from a player. Even though Mac Hollins has been suffering some foot injury, I don't know exactly, but at least during, I don't remember exactly, but I remember during training camp, we've seen Mac Hollins working with the young wide receivers, which I felt was really promising, even though he didn't like participate in drills and whatnot. At least he was lecturing the wide receivers, teaching some of like the tips, giving wide receivers tips and techniques of like how to make proper routes and win in 1v1 situations. That's what I love about Mac Hollins. And I'm excited to see if he's going to go barefoot in these cold weather.
Knowing Mac Hollins, he will. I saw that when he went on that playoff game when they played when they had to play on that blizzard at home when they played against the Steelers. That he still, despite all that, he still walked barefoot. Like still, you cannot change the personality that he has. People are judging because he just walked barefoot into the locker room. Like, grow up. If that is what he wants to do, that's what he's going to do.
Exactly. But let's move on to Joshua Dobbs. And oh my gosh, there was a swan song for Joshua Dobbs, I would say, because there were moments where he went up and down and up and down and up and down. And my gosh, prayers to Kyle Williams, because we don't know if Kyle Williams could potentially be on IR, or I don't know, because I know that he was grabbing his head.
Ugh. Oh, you read? Oh, that's never any good.
Yep, and Dobbs threw him that ball in one of those in precarious spots, which I did not like that throw from Joshua Dobbs.
Yeah, Paperwaves just said the wind knocked out of him. He's fine, so he's not going to be an IR. So that's good news to hear.
But then again, at least that Kyle Williams has been getting reps, because the last game Kyle Williams would have had some touchdowns, but there are times when Joshua Dobbs has been missing wide open throws, and wide open catches.
He threw a couple of hospital balls too. I think it was.
Yeah, there were hospital balls.
Was it John Giles they were talking about? I think.
Yes.
Was the target on one of those throws?
I don't remember exactly, but I know one of them was to Kyle Williams.
Yeah, at times, literally at times, Dobbs would be a good quarterback. But honestly, that's the reason why he's going to be a backup at this point. I mean, sure, he just makes some bad passes. He made some good passes here, but like, who else is going to be our backup quarterback? Ben Woodridge? Like, nobody knows nobody knows who he is at this point here. And Dobbs is a veteran quarterback that you need to assist Drake May with the younger players and the younger quarterbacks. Like, at sometimes, yes, bad mistakes happen to him, bad plays, bad throws, but still, he's a veteran. We need that in the team. So yeah.
Yeah, but there is one thing, and we will get to the winners and losers at the very end of the live stream. And then after that, we will discuss the final preseason preview game against the New York Giants. And currently the New York Giants are playing the Jets at the time of this recording. But let's talk about these connections with Dobbs and Baker. And because, oh my gosh, they were disgusting. I didn't even want to hear that. Like, Joshua Dobbs to Javon Baker makes me want to throw up. Like, what are your thoughts about it, Andy? Like, I don't want to talk about Baker anymore. This
Josh Dobbs to Javon Baker. I mean, and I think Baker dropped the ball on that particular play. And all I will say on this is that play might have lost Javon Baker a roster spot. And I think ultimately, ironically, it was a drive where Effton Chisum wound up with his touchdown. So I will leave it at that because I don't want to hear the name Javon Baker again.
Neither do I. What about you, Thomas?
Where is it? Where is it? There it is.
Boom.
We're back with the F. Because that's
never mention the name Javon Baker to me again.
The only reason Joshua Dobbs gets credit, and I don't give him credit for this, I give Effton Chisum the credit because let's talk about Effton Chisum for a second. Regardless of the whole crap show with Joshua Dobbs and his business, let's talk about Effton Chisum. He did it again. When you look at his stats,
exactly
6 receptions, 50 yards, and a touchdown. Look what he did.
71 yards. 71 yards.
No, that was from the Commanders game. This game, you are right, Andy. 6 receptions, 71 yards, 1 touchdown. In 6 targets. 6 for 6 versus 6 for 8 in Washington. When you hear those stats, granted, this is only the preseason bowl. What is your confidence level now for Effton Chisum?
Wide receiver 5. That was straight from Taylor Kyles on his post-game live stream this afternoon. He and Mike Cadlick said there was little doubt in our mind after the Washington game that Effton Chisum was a roster lock, but we could have argued that it was Effton Chisum versus you-know-who. Now, after that play by you-know-who, fingers double-crossed here, that even if we only carry 6 wide receivers, one of them will be Effton Chisum III. You can't. My only question about this is we know he got reps with the ones earlier in the week, on Wednesday, I think it was, specifically against the Vikings. I would like to see more of that. When do their practices start against the Giants? Probably Tuesday, I would think, because the game's Thursday.
Is the game Thursday?
The game is Thursday.
At MetLife Stadium.
Oh boy.
Yeah, oh boy.
I don't understand the stadium anymore.
What do you mean? You don't understand what?
I don't understand why the MetLife Stadium still exists and why they still haven't changed the damn turf.
Oh, ugh, gross. Yeah.
Because
bad.
that stadium plagues injuries, ACLs, MCLs, you name it.
That's specific turf, exactly.
Yes, that's the reason why I would say, oh boy, 4.
With
Let's
Effton
talk about
Chisum being your best wide receiver in both of these, yes, it's preseason, like you said, Thomas and Dow, but Vrabel and McDaniels, for that matter, cannot be looking at what they've seen and say, we want a practice squad, Effton Chisum. He will be picked up like boom. And he was you remember this guy's probably, he was a hot commodity as a UDFA. I mean, the Broncos courted him aggressively. I think some other team might have too. It might have been the Texans. I think there might have been some other team.
Probably them, but I know the Broncos is one of the teams want to get Chisum bad.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Sean Payton desperately wanted Chisum, but the thing is, you saw it in the Discord chat today. The way this kid played, how in the wide world of fuck was he not drafted? And again, was you and I, Dow, were talking about this earlier. People look too much at the combine. His 40 shat. In fact, I'm going to look it up right now. No, I know what it was. There was some pre-draft TV show that had Chisum billed as a 5th round pick specifically to the Rams. And it was like, I think that particular guy was saying, holy shit, if the Rams draft this kid in the 5th or 6th round, they could get Cooper Kupp 2.0.
Yeah, I mean, Chisum to the Rams makes sense. I don't know why he got undrafted in the first place.
He ran a 4.71 40, and that is why he went.
Same with Restrepo, who was projected to be 5th rounder, 6th rounder, also went undrafted.
Right, Restrepo, right, and so yeah, same for. I thought Restrepo was projected to go slightly higher, but I know Chisum was projected as a 5th or 6th rounder. And it wasn't the Texans; it was specifically he was mocked to exactly. Tyler, thank you. Bad 40 time. Like I said, it was a 4.71. And you and I were talking about this earlier. They don't wait the Senior Bowl, and
they don't watch the Senior Bowl.
They don't watch the Senior Bowl or the Shrine Bowl. They watch the Combine, and they look at the vertical jump and 40-yard dash. And that is why, if you want to go way back, that was why the Combine was why Brady was last on a list of 576 quarterbacks because of that Combine performance. So the Combine really, the Senior Bowl, the bowl games you play in college, and then add that Tech, the Senior Bowl, and Shrine Bowl onto that matter much more than your Combine scores.
Yeah, before I get to my take on continue like the whole Chisum discussion and potentially the Combine, please make sure that I think that Tyler posted in somewhere. I'm gonna huge shout out to Tyler and the rest of my mods. Please make sure as you come into the show, only 3 likes so far. Please make sure that you smash the like button and hit subscribe. It's completely free and it helps us grow as a family, and we appreciate the support from all of you guys. And like I said before in the beginning of the stream, please make sure that you post in your questions and comments in the YouTube chat. We would love to read them. But let's get back to my take on with the Effton Chisum thing. And Tyler gave a perfect example of another player who dropped because of the 40-yard dash. Puka Ngata.
Yep.
Out of BYU. And look what he did for the Rams. He looked great during his rookie season. He was this close to beating Jamar Chase's rookie record. And I'm surprised if it wasn't for his health issues, he would have been a solidified. He would have been a wide receiver one for the Rams.
Yes. I am a huge Puka fan at this point, honestly. Like, despite what the
draft analysts, or maybe like
what the draft analysts or what the freaking minds of the combine said about this, the combine does not mean jack crap. It's the performance on the football field counts. Puka just showed everyone why he's probably the wide receiver one, wide receiver two, probably the best receiver for the Rams.
Yeah.
He was a Puka, like Cooper Kupp was a 5th-round pick.
Exactly.
Yeah. Speaking of Chisum, there was another team, Andy, that you did mention besides the Rams. We did a video on that. We did a live stream on this, you and I. There was one other team. I was shocked when I heard about this. There was one team that Effton Chisum went on a top 30, or was it like a top
40
30?
visit? He went on a 40 visit to Denver.
Yeah, 40 visit. Yeah, with the Broncos. Why didn't the Broncos draft Effton Chisum?
Why didn't Peyton draft him? Yeah, that's
because they were the only team to work with Effton Chisum. I don't know, but what I do know is that the Broncos wide receiver core consists of Marvin Mims, Cortland Sutton, who already got his contract extension, Troy Franklin, and then some random bodies. But I think that Effton Chisum, we need to give him some credit. Dan Mitchell said himself on Instagram that they just found another small white wide receiver to our collection.
So essentially, this was Bills fan Dan Mitchell amounting to saying, shit, the Pats got another Edelman. Small school, white, shifty wide receiver.
Exactly. Okay, so Austin answered
it was Brett Alper said during the live stream that he was on, this is another Edelman, Welker, Amendola. Again, we're not in the regular season, and we've had kids ball out in the preseason, look shit in the regular season. But Effton Chisum, he may just be something different. And I think Vrabel is catching on to it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so as I was saying before, I sorry if I interrupted you, Andy, but I was just going to say that Austin answered my question for why the Broncos didn't draft Effton Chisum, because they drafted Pat Bryant, and I forgot about Pat Bryant.
Yeah.
So it would make sense for why they wouldn't need him. And so, but with Effton Chisum, time after time again, no matter which quarterback you worked with, he will continue to make plays. And I feel like after that, let me just look up the sequences. I wrote it down. So I wrote it down somewhere. So Effton Chisum had 2 consecutive plays, one of them for 11 yards, and then the other one from a 30 bomber. And while making these plays, he's been shaking off defenders. I'm like, I did not know this guy was that physical.
I was not even thought he's that physical either. When I saw the clip that he went through every single Vikings defender, the Reese fans are like,
he broke a triple. Like this tiny kid broke a triple tackle. I mean, is he Gronk? Like that's not Edelman. That's Gronk-esque right there. That's a tight end move.
I would not be surprised if he converts to tight end, but that would have been awesome considering that he's going to be the best 86. And I think that Effton Chisum looks great in 86, but numbers don't mean it. numbers don't always mean everything, but I just felt like Chisum had constantly breaking tackles, and that guy, I feel like Effton Chisum is going to be in our minds a future Pro Bowler for the New England Patriots. But
100%.
Before we continue on to the rushing attack, let's answer a question from my man Nitro Border 17, and comes in with the Garrett Bradbury question.
Oh boy.
How concerned are you about Garrett Bradbury?
I'll go first.
With you. I'll start.
No,
with
you go. Okay. Actually, yeah. I mean, Bradbury's nothing but a bridge center for this point. What I'm concerned about is injuries. That's all I'm gonna say. He has a lot of history when it comes to injuries. Like, do I trust him to be our starting center? No. I don't think so at this point. I'd rather have Ben Brown as our center over Bradbury. Like, it's not a waste of a contract for a guy that is like injury prone with the Vikings, and now is joined with us here. Like, I don't get it. Like, if somehow if Bradbury's injured through the start of the regular season, midway of the regular season, that would be a major red flag for us Patriots fans here. And again, I'd rather have Ben Brown, might be the most consistent offensive lineman, to be our center over Bradbury.
How about you, Andy?
Yeah, I heard this on the radio earlier. It's like we cut David Andrews gets cut, and then we sign Garrett Bradbury to a 2-year, $12 million deal. Yeah, I'm with you, Thomas. The injuries, the age, he is now. Hold on a sec. I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, Andy returned. We'll wait for Andy, but I'll voice him by saying I'm a little concerned with Garrett Bradbury too. Not just with the health reasons. I'm more concerned about his pass blocking performance.
That's for sure.
His run blocking, I have no problem with. His pass blocking, I'm a lot concerned with. We saw him getting pancake in one of the plays, and yet Drake made an impressive throw. I don't remember what play it was. I think it was a play. I think it was to Mac Hollins in that first or second drive. But Garrett Bradbury, I felt like Minnesota did a crappy job of drafting first rounders, and that guy was a former first rounder out of NC State.
So Bradbury is 30, which is getting up there for an O lineman, but I believe Andrews is 33. In the long run, I actually would have preferred keeping David Andrews as a center mentor for Jared Wilson. Because now, like you said, depending on how things go, we could wind up having Ben Brown as our center one, which it's not the most ideal thing, although he has been playing surprisingly well. So, but yeah, I would say, to Nitro's question, quite concerned about Garrett Bradbury.
Yeah. I would say that Garrett Bradbury will thrive in the run game, but in the passing, that's where I'm going to be a little more concerned with. But if we just primarily run the ball, like run the damn ball, we should be fine, because that's where he's good at run blocking. That's the only thing that Garrett Bradbury is good at. Because if I'm not mistaken, Andy, if you check his PFF grades, he did well with his with his run blocking, right? Andy?
What?
Oh, I was just gonna ask you. When you look up his PFF grade, he did well in his run blocking, correct? Over his pass blocking?
I believe yes. Garrett Bradbury. BFF.
There's a reason for why Vikings cut Garrett
So
Bradbury.
his run block his run block last season was 14th out of 64 centers, 70.7. His pass block was 48 to 56th out of 54. So his run block is better than his pass block.
Yeah, there is a reason for why the Vikings cut him for former first rounder back in 2016, I think it was, former Indianapolis Colts center Ryan Kelly. I think Ryan Kelly is going to be a better center for the Minnesota Vikings than Bradbury, to be honest. But
yes.
But yeah, I love your question. I love your question, Nitro Border, and I feel like if you want to continue posting questions, feel free to do so because we're discussing about the post-game recap. Remember, guys, if you haven't already, please make sure that you smash the like button and hit subscribe. It's completely free and helps us grow as a family, and we appreciate your support. But now let's talk about the run game. But when it comes to the run game, it's not the best, I would say, but it's not the worst. Like I look at compared to the Commanders game where we ran the ball 31 times and we ran for 153 yards. This time we ran the ball more. However, it was for 104 yards. Could this be because Henderson has been making plays? Well, we can't deny that. The depth, however, I'm a little concerned with because if I look at the stats for the running backs,
Hasty had a good game today.
Yeah, Hasty had a good game.
I'm surprised Hasty had a good game.
I know, me too.
I'm surprised that we even brought back Hasty.
I thought he might have been a goner in the offseason, but
well, I guess
he's one of those guys who was just. How long has he been a Patriot? Maybe he's one of those guys who was just misutilized.
Yeah, I think it was misutilized under these two. He's 28.
I'm just gonna start some of your questions that we'll save for later. I didn't even know that. Came into the league with the Niners. He's been a Patriot since 2023.
Yeah, he's been 3 seasons been with us.
He was with before he joined us for his first stint, he was with the Jaguars, right?
Yeah, he's with the Jaguars.
Niners and the Jaguars.
Yep, correct. Niners and the Jags, yeah.
Also, do you realize that after losing Lan Larison to IR, and I feel bad for Dustin, considering that Dustin is a huge fan of Lan Larison, and the fact that we lost Lan Larison, it really hurt the running back room a little bit because
a lot of us came to really, really like Lan Larison. Like that touchdown. Like when we picked him up, I'm like, who the fuck is this? And I looked at his stats and was like, oh.
But
and yeah, that touchdown last week, and then next thing we know, he's on IR for a broken foot. So
he's been playing that game last week with a broken foot. So that's the reason he did not even.
That's chutzpah right there. I mean, you put that, IR I don't think counts toward a roster spot, but we have to make sure he does not go anywhere.
Right.
Exactly. Also, I felt like Antonio Gibson, Shane Watts, who we picked up from waivers, I think because we had Denerick Prince at one point, but then we cut him to get Shane Watts. And unfortunately, Gibbs didn't look as well. 7 carries for 17 yards. Shane Watts didn't look better, but he's a depth piece anyway. We're not going to.
A-Gib did not have the game he did last week.
No,
it was not. Hasty and Henderson.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hasty I'm surprised with here, but I'm not surprised with Henderson. Like, Henderson's the dog of this running back group.
Henderson might be the best back in the class.
Yes. Like you and I discussed about this, Dow. Like, I would rather have Henderson over like somebody like Ashton Genty, who has been probably the best running back in the class.
over him and over Quinshawn Judkins.
How about Amari and Hampton? A lot of people like Amari and Hampton.
Like Hampton, I'm not saying I will have Henderson over Hampton. Hampton has good stats. Like, again, I would have Henderson over Genty. Like, Genty didn't, when he was with Boise State, they have no competition. When it comes to Henderson, Ohio State, they have competition. They won the national championship. That's the reason the fact that he's been drafted this low, like second round at this point, shocked the hell out of me at this point.
Yeah.
I'd rather have him.
He was billed mostly as a low first rounder.
Yeah, I'm surprised that there were certain teams that didn't even draft a running back. I'm looking at Cowboys, and I'm looking at crap, who's the other team we needed a running back? Well, Chargers got their running back, so that
the Bears.
Yep.
Steelers is another team that they should have drafted.
Bears.
But they drafted Caleb Johnson. No, Caleb Johnson. Actually, there's actually one more other team.
The Bears this year wound up drafting. What was that? Monangai in like the 6th.
Oh, Kyle Monangai, the guy out of Rutgers.
Yeah, Monangai is a good running back.
I know Rob praised the heck out of that guy, saying he's like a bowling ball, but regardless, I felt like the run game was a bit underwhelming, to say the least. Like, they ran the ball a little more, but the production that they had, it was not
or less, yeah. What you said we had 31 runs last week, Dow?
Last week we had 31 yards for 153 yards. This
31 rushes.
Today we have 34 attempts for 100 yards.
Ugh.
107 to be exact.
Yeah. I'm curious of how well it's going to be, of how we're going to put up against the Giants, because oh my gosh, the Giants.
The Giants always have a brute of a defense.
Yeah.
Even when they're bad.
Yeah, watch out for one guy that they got, Abdul Carter. Like, he is a dog. Like a dog at this point.
Don't say Abdul Carter, Thomas. I wanted him, and I wanted him badly.
I wanted him too. I wanted him, and then drafted Josh Connerly Jr.
That was me. Were you? Did you and I talk about this, Dow? You and I agreed. We both wanted Carter and Connerly.
Yeah, I wanted Connerly because if we don't get Campbell, Connerly was my plan B. Granted that Josh Connerly went to Washington, even though we drafted with Campbell, but I think that Washington is going to have a great guy in Josh Connerly. So
yes, I was 100%. I mean, sorry to cut you off, Thomas, but yeah, those would have been my two draft picks. Would have been Carter and Connerly, 100%. I actually looked at stats, and there was, I forget if it was run or pass block, but Connerly was better than Campbell on one of them.
Yeah, and he looked really impressive during the Senior Bowl too, I gotta say.
He did, correct.
Let's see what else we could talk about. The fact that when it came to third down efficiency, so last time we were like 50% while converting third down. This time we convert 60%, 12 out of 20. It was a little better, but that was because of the run game and offense. I think like there was a little mixed matching, and I understand I was harsh on the Patriots offense for like their lack of production in the passing game, but that's because Josh McDaniels has been keeping some of these plays as a secret just so that we don't reveal all of these plays.
McDaniels likes his run game.
And unfortunately, we underwhelmed in the run game, unfortunately. But
we did.
Regardless, I felt like we did a great job in the third down efficiency. The fourth down, unfortunately, 0 for 1. And that one, and do you know who missed that pass?
Was it it was who? It was JB.
JB from JD.
Trevon Baker.
Oh my gosh. I don't want to talk about that guy.
And to think I wanted him last year, and to think, oh, geez.
We all wanted him.
And to think, oh, geez, if I wanted, a couple days ago, oh, yeah, I want to carry 7 wide receivers. They have to be Butte, Pop, Hollins, Diggs, Williams, Chisum, Baker. Not so much now.
There's a possibility that John Giles is going to be in the making, considering that he did look impressive with Ben Woldridge. Grant, unfortunately, there were a couple of drops, but for most of it, he looked really well, and he's going to be pushing Baker.
And Kyle Williams did have a catch today before that injury.
John Giles is going to make. John Giles is going to be all over the place because he's a big guy too. John Giles. He's actually 6'3", the same height as Mac Hollins. So
that's another thing we read. Like, in how many of his seasons here did Josh McDaniels carry 7 wide receivers? It was the bulk.
If I want to look at 2021, let's just take 21 for example, because that was the last season where Josh McDaniels was with the Patriots before he went to Las Vegas, where it was definitely a shit show. But
yeah, it's Vegas. What do you expect?
Yeah, they did carry 6. Unfortunately, Oshevsky was a punt returner. Matthew Slater was a gunner. So,
yep,
we carried. Some of these names I'm not going to mention, except for Kendrick Bourne. But let's talk about
Kendrick Bourne and Jacoby Myers.
Jacoby Myers, the guy out of Arizona State in 2019, and then dropped the ball, Nelson Aguilar.
Oh, Aguilar? Ugh.
Oh, you mean fucking the freaking what's his name? N'Keal Harry.
Yeah.
Somebody was saying today that actually they would have rather, and could be football comedy. I would rather N'Keal Harry than Jalen Polk. And that's because Harry's not a diva. He never said stupid shit.
Oh, F take.
It doesn't matter, but let's continue on with the offense before we get to the defense. Let's talk about the offensive line. Nobody in the media booth or whatever, none of the broadcasters mentioned about the offensive line. How did you feel the offensive line performed? Regardless of this, at least there were no sacks allowed. That's a great sign. No quarterback pressures. There is one thing I'm a little annoyed about with the offensive line, and I think Mike Vrabel is going to nip it in the bud. Penalties.
Yeah. The offensive line penalties are what have killed us the past couple of years.
Holding penalties were pissing me off.
And it's not just the penalties. It was the penalties on top of sacks and pressures and just overall some of the shittiest O-line play the NFL has ever seen. But I do trust Vrabel to nip that problem in the bud more than Gerard Mayo ever did. Let me just say that.
Yeah, Mayo has no experience when it comes to as head coach. He should have stayed as a linebackers coach. He should have stayed as a defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no. Yeah, I agree. I'd rather have Vrabel than to fix that issues over somebody like Gerard Mayo here, honestly. But the offensive line overall really good here, especially Will Campbell. But like you said, Dal, the penalties need to be scrapped. Honestly, last year, we have way more offensive penalties, including pre-snap penalties, which just pisses me off beyond belief.
Exactly, and that's what we hate about Pete as Pats fans, because we obviously want them to be perfect. Now, not everything is going to be clean, but It's just these stupid mistakes. It doesn't matter if the refs make these stupid calls. Whatever call it is, you pay the price for it. And unfortunately, Tyrese Robinson cost the holding penalty at one point. It was during the fourth quarter. I don't remember exactly, but the penalties were a killer. But let's talk about one final thing before we switch over to the defense. And I think that Gerard brings up an interesting point. I was pondering a tight end in the next year's draft. Looked tempting if we didn't need a little more offensive line. Let's talk about the tight end production. Only Jaheim Bell caught that ball. And we know Hunter Henry didn't play. Austin Hooper got a little bit of production, but what do you think about the tight end position?
I would have gone offensive line before I went corner. I thought we should have taken an offensive lineman with the Mr. Irrelevant pick, specifically Joshua Gray.
Or Will Lampkin.
Or him too.
Because look what Willie Lampkin did for
and Joshua Gray specifically is a guard. He's now with Atlanta. But yeah, Gerard makes a great point. Tight end is obviously getting a little older. We have Austin Hooper and Hunter Henry. We could
we have some question marks with Jaheim Bell, Jack Westover, CJ Dupree, who unfortunately didn't catch a ball.
Nope, sadly.
Right. But I mean, yeah, we've also got right tackle is going to be a concern.
Oh, definitely.
Right guard is going to be a concern.
Yep.
And center remains to be seen. So, yeah, O-line Gerard is going to be a big need next year, and should probably now be prioritized over tight end, in my opinion.
Yeah. I at least we're not like the other franchise who has done a crappy job of developing tight ends. And you know which franchise I'm talking about.
We do. Are they in the AFC East?
In the AFC East.
The Jets.
Dolphins?
No, Andy's correct. The Jets.
Oh, the Jets. Right.
Right. We don't know what Mason Taylor will look like. Jeremy Ruckler looked ass. And then they lost Tyler Conklin, who's now with the Chargers.
Yeah, the Jets would no longer have someone to be conking with.
Have to what?
What? Conklin? Conking?
Oh,
yeah, I made that pun. I made that pun years ago when the Jets still have Conklin.
Conklin.
Yeah, I felt like that game there was a lot more wide receiver under this year. There was a lot more wide receiver production than tight end production. Granted that Josh McDaniels loves his tight ends, and I was shocked that I haven't seen much of the tight end production.
Yeah, I do see why tight ends is definitely a must need here for us at this point. I know offensive line is a big need, but like what Gerard pointed out, we do need a tight end. Like, we desperately need a tight end to be in that room because, yeah, Hooper's getting old. Freaking Hunter Henry's getting old. Like, what else do we have besides those two that could be good in that tight end?
Who knows what's going to happen with Dupree and Westover and Bell? We don't know.
And we don't know what G. Scott Jr. is going to look like. Also, the only other tight end outside of Bell that made a catch is undrafted, some random practice squad guy named Cole Fotherham.
No. What? Cole Fotherham, yeah.
What? I never heard of this guy.
And I think that...
Oh, that's...
Cole Fotheringham. Oh, that's yeah, he's a UDF. He's out of Utah and signed as a UDFA with the Raiders in 22. and we signed him after he was a preseason, after he was a offseason acquire. He was acquired by the Broncos in the offseason, and we picked him up, pretty much.
NJ,
Pretty much.
he said we need a
Effing.
bleeping Rob Gronk type of tight end. That I wish that was the case, but you're not gonna get a Gronk type of tight end.
No, it's impossible to find a Gronk type tight end.
You're not gonna get Brady at quarterback, and you're not gonna get Gronk at tight end. Just as
maybe a Antonio Gates type, or maybe a Tony Gonzalez, but not a Gronk.
No, absolutely not. No.
But we could discuss draft for all we want. It's really too early, but we could.
A lot of people want to start talking draft. I'm not quite ready yet.
Yeah, not yet. We need to see some games. We need to see some games first, and probably like November, I would say we will start a new series on the draft, and we can discuss some of this. But that's not. We're not going to discuss it, but. If you guys haven't already, please make sure, before we move on to the defense, please make sure that you smash the like button and hit subscribe. It's completely free and it helps supports the channel and it helps us grow as a family. We appreciate it. But let's talk about the defense. And oh my gosh, outside of that final sequence in the fourth quarter, what were your thoughts on the defense, Andy?
Outside of the final drive on the fourth quarter, meaning the 81-yard punt return and that play, we'll talk about that play momentarily, but I think the fact we essentially, it was their second and third stringers, but holding a Kevin O'Connell coach team to 12 points, I mean, something has to be said for that defense. And again, it was not really our first string defenders. I don't think Barmore and Williams were out on the field today. Gonzo obviously wasn't out on the field. Maybe, correct me here if I'm wrong, Carlton Davis, I think, played a sequence or two, didn't he?
Carlton Davis made one play, and he made a pass breakup, but that was it. Other than that, we haven't seen anything else of Carlton Davis.
I think the defense... Overall, I'd have to say the defense probably beat the offense today. It was that most of that game was a defensive slugfest, but it was kind of a fun defensive slugfest, if you know what I mean.
Yes, I do know what you're talking about there.
How about you, Thomas? What are your thoughts on the defense?
Well, besides the Kyle
and
Duggar.
Anthony Jennings, and if I can just interject here, Anthony Jennings with 3 sacks. Outside chance of making the roster right now?
Yeah, he's there's a problem with Jennings. Before the preseason, we all thought that he would be a candidate. He would be one of these players who would be outside looking in, like he would be a potential like trade candidate or cut candidate. But when I look at like the cap space or the salary cap, he has the potential to be like a trade candidate. Like if he does well, if his stock goes up, we trade him to another team, and we can get like some draft capital out of Anthony Jennings. We could get like a 3rd rounder or maybe a 4th rounder out of him. That would be crazy if we can get some like draft capital and invest in on like an edge rusher. But Anthony Jennings, man, this guy is really interesting, man. Like I think that he doesn't. The problem with Jennings is that he doesn't fit the defensive scheme that Terrell Williams has installed. So it's going to be a bit complex, I would say. But
he's more of a run defender than a pass defender, correct?
I think so. That's why I know Tyler has been talking in the chat, like talking about like players that we should get in the draft, like tight end, edge rusher. Like we will get to that potentially, but let's see how well they perform in the first few games, and then we'll get
Yep.
PFF, his run defense grade was a 73, his pass rush 59. So yeah, he was and he's a defensive end. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Vrabel is more of a pass defense guy than a run defense guy.
Also, there's one player that needs to be getting needs a little attention, and that's Braden Swinson. I couldn't tell if Braden Swinson was silent or was he making plays, because he was applying a lot of pressure, that was for sure, but I haven't heard much from my guy Braden Swinson. So what are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, Braden Swinson. Yeah, didn't he have a penalty on him today too?
I don't think so. No, it was on the rookie, the undrafted rookie out of North Carolina, Ritzy, I think that's what his name was.
Oh, really?
But yeah, I think that he was applying a lot of pressure. That was great, but I wish that we could get like a sack or two out of him. But oh well, that is what it is.
It would be very nice.
It would be very nice, but
it would be very nice. I wish I could find some info on Swinson from today, but I can't find anything.
Yeah,
there's one guy that I really impressed with. And it's not even the guys you guys meant, not even one of the guys mentioned on the roster. It's one guy that made a fantastic play punching the football from one of the receivers. That's Brandon Crossley, the rookie from SMU.
Brandon Crossley out of SMU.
Yeah, he's the guy that the receiver, when the Minnesota receiver caught the football, Crossley just punched the football out, and that made an incompletion. So Crossley really impressed me today at this point. Of all the defensive players we had here, Crossley really impressed me. Four tackles, and including that punched that football out for one of the receivers.
Impressive. That
punched out football is always a good play.
If he continues to do that against the Giants, making plays, there could be a potential chance that he could make the 53-man roster, but he would have to force out some of the other cornerbacks out of that. But since you mentioned something about the secondary, Thomas, we're going to have to talk about this one guy who I think is going to be traded at some point or potentially be cut. And I don't understand why he played the whole entire game. This one guy, and I think that he needs to be discussed. His name is Kyle Duggar. This guy, I think, is on his way out of New England.
Yeah, and I know Tyler in the main chat, he is like, okay, Duggar's been injured. There are times where, he hasn't been used properly. And here we are putting him on the football field again. And I can understand that. But can I use this as a point to segue into the final play of the game?
Go ahead.
Because up until then, Duggar basically didn't have a play of note. He didn't have a sack. Did he have any pass breakups? Tell me. Enlighten me.
Let me take a look at Kyle Duggar's stats, because what I did not understand with Kyle Duggar is he was playing with the second team.
Well, he had 4 tackles and he had a pass deflection.
Oh, he had 4. Oh, gee. Okay. Interesting.
I understand that he came from an injury, as Tyler alluded to, but I just feel like Duggar, now that he's playing with the special team and with the second stringers, that's kind of concerning. Because
I know I'm backtracking here. No, did I mention this already? About I just want to backtrack a ways here, if you don't mind me.
Go ahead.
Effton Chisum, the fact that he didn't play in the fourth quarter is super telling. That essentially says that Mike Vrabel wants him on this roster. But back to Kyle Duggar.
Yep.
Kyle Duggar, man. Why would he play the full? The moment's third quarter. Kyle Duggar was still on the field. I'm like, what? We knew from the get-go that he was working with second stringers during joint practices, which means one thing. Greg Woodson is going to be one of your starting safeties outside of Jabril Peppers, or Jalen Hawkins is pushing up there.
So, or the three safeties who carry potentially Hawkins, Peppers, and
Woodson, and
Woodson.
potentially Pettis,
exactly.
Yeah, here's the thing about Duggar at this point. Vrabel did say that he's not afraid to transfer Duggar to a linebacker if he does not do well as a safety, which clearly he isn't. But he did make 4 tackles in the pass deflection, so most likely, I would see him just go to trenches as a linebacker to see how is he going to do.
Interesting, but we all know that Duggar sucks at coverage. That's a foregone conclusion.
Exactly.
So
yeah, that's the reason.
Transfer to linebacker, but we already have as a linebacker, would he play in the middle, the inside, or the outside? That's going to be the big question because
that is a good question to know.
Yeah, that's a lot better.
Because we all know he sucks. I'm going to say it again. Sucks in coverage. He's good in the box. So that's the one thing about Duggar that we can talk about. But I think that Duggar needs like a restructure to his contract, or he needs to be traded. Because if we were to trade him, besides cutting him, if we were to cut him, that would affect the amount of dead cap post June 1st.
That would require eating like what, $4 million?
14 million.
14, oh brother. And that's a lot of money.
Actually, hold on. Let me double check Kyle Duggar's contract. If we were to cut him or trade him. If we were to cut him, I'm using hold on. This is not what I wanted. Just give me a second, guys. I'm trying to find a contract.
Oh, good.
Over the salary cap. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Let's take a look at cut. There we go. If we were to cut Kyle Duggar post June 1st, we would take on this $14.25 million dead cap while saving $1 million. If we were to trade him, we would only eat up like $4.5 million while we save $10 million.
So trading would be $4 million. That's where I got messed up. Okay. All right. Cool.
Yes.
And I would say another thing we should be doing, we would have to restructure his contract. Would you all agree that Kyle Duggar's contract needs to be restructured?
Oh, 100%.
Yes.
Because there's no way we're keeping Kyle Duggar long term. No. Because he's the same age as Jabril Peppers. And interestingly enough,
we have him on a long-term contract. Ugh.
4 years.
Oh,
and he's 30, and he's going to be 30 years old. Drafted in 2020, which says a lot.
Kyle, he's 29. This will be... Oh, God. Yeah, this will be his year 29. So, not exactly young.
But I just feel like the fact that we discussed about Kyle Duggar, the more I just feel like outside of that play, he was like mediocre before that whole interception and thought to be a fumble. But thank God that Kyle Duggar made a play, regardless. And yes,
I watched that play and remember a play I really kind of shouldn't bring up, that it's like at first glance, yes, it looks like, what was it, like Cole Strange reached for a bare 4th down against Miami a couple of seasons ago. And it was
gosh, I don't even want to talk about that.
And it was ruled not a 4th down. Anyway, that play today, It looked like, tell me if I'm misinterpreting this. It looked like the ball left his hands as he was landing on his bum. Like, it's like they almost happened simultaneously. That was a weird play. The call, as we know, did wind up going in our direction, and as we know, Vikings fans started screaming seconds after it happened. But, and yeah, I looked at that and I said, okay, here, a call goes in our direction in a one-score game, and the other fan base starts screaming in the preseason. Like, really? But yeah, he clearly did lose the ball, but it was not abundantly clear to me watching that footage that he did not survive the ground. I can watch it again, but let me know what you guys think.
I don't. Go ahead, Thomas.
Technically, he did make the interception. However, he did lose the ball, but he managed to make it a touchback. So the Vikings do not have a chance to get the ball back. So technically, it's 50-50. He literally fucked us the game. 50%. He saved us from this game. This saved us that game.
It was like it looked actually kind of like you just said. It was, if this makes any sense, half pick, half fumble. It wasn't really fully either one. Funny play.
Yeah,
it's just one of these plays. It's just say to just get along with it. Like, I know people are literally just like just moaning, complaining about that play. Like, guys, we won that game because of that play. Like, regardless if it's a bad play or not. It's an interception. Yes, it's a fumble, but it's a touchback. I don't even care about this at this point. If it's a bad football play, then it makes it good. A bad football play should make it a good. So, yeah. That's all I'm going to say about it.
How did they wind up ruling it a touchback? Enlighten me on that.
I do not even know. I don't even freaking know, man. I just legit don't get it. The refs call that a touchback. Like, that's the point. I was completely confused. I mean, it's probably when the ball touched the end zone after the ball was touched by Duggar. I have no clue what happened.
Yeah, with Kyle Duggar, I just also the head referee in that game was Carl Sheffers, and we all know who Carl Sheffers is as a referee. We've known him for that Super Bowl 51. Mm-hmm. For that Chiefs Bills game where we all know that Chiefs went offensive offsides. I still remember that guy. But let's talk about before we get to the special teams. Before that whole interception, let's talk about that blown play. And I felt like Trey Avery needs to get cut. He's not sticking around for much longer.
Who?
Cornerback Trey Avery from the 49ers.
I do not know what play you're referencing. I'm sorry.
You have Trey Avery. We signed him to a 1-year, $1.1 million deal, and he blew up that play. So those two sequences in the final drive of for the Vikings that led to an interception. No, I'm trying to find that sequence. We were 4th and 7. No. They were down 4th and 17th, actually. Excuse me. I am trying to find that. Where is it? Where is that play? Just give me a second, guys. That play. Defense played really well. 1st and 10, first play. Second play, 2nd and 10. Third play, 3rd and 7. And then a holding call onto the offense, which gets them to 3rd and 17, and then 4th and 17. Guess what happens? Trey Avery bombed that play when they were 4th and 17, and guess what it converted to? 1st and 10 at the Minnesota 49-yard line. Then it happened again, where Brosmer, a 3rd or 4th stringer for the Minnesota QB for the Minnesota Vikings, passed a short drive to Jones. I've never heard of this guy. For 22 yards to the New England 29-yard line. That says a lot about Trey Avery. Those were the 2 plays where I got really scared about. What are your thoughts on that, Thomas?
This is my thought.
That exactly. I do not remember these plays from Adam, but yes, that's correct.
Yeah, they really disgusted me, which led to the Kyle Duggar interception. But if it wasn't,
they were both. Wait, no. What the crud? They were all on that same. What?
They were all in that same drive. It was the final drive. It was after the 2-minute warning. We had the ball. This was our final offensive drive. We shot ourselves in the foot. If we look at the offensive play, I know we're talking defense, but that offensive play led to the whole defensive sequences. If it wasn't for that offensive holding on Tyrese Robinson, then Shane Watts, -2 yards. Then Ben Woldridge scrambled for 1 yard. And then Jermichael Hasty for 5 yards, and we had to punt, which led to those defensive sequences. I did not like that sequence from the offense. I did not.
No, that was not good.
Which led to that whole interception, which, mind you, I did not think that Kyle Duggar would make that play, but it happened.
There you go. And the whole argument they made that, the Minnesota tight end caught it in the end zone for a touchdown. Like, I don't know. I didn't see that.
I didn't see it either. I wish I watched the gameplay, but I was on Colby's channel, so I did not know much about it.
That was a completely weird play.
It was weird, but let's get to the special teams. And oh my gosh, it's a story. It was crazy for the special team. And I think I start a question on this question from Nitro Border. This was at 8:20. This was asked. Let's talk about the kickers. Let's talk about them kickers.
The kickers. Andres Borregales and Parker Romo. Well, Borregales misses a 57-yarder. Now, you said 30 yards to the right, correct?
Yeah.
But to make the score, I believe at that point it would have been 20-9. No, maybe it was 20-12.
10-9. No, 10-0.
No. I'm talking about when he actually made the field goal.
Oh, when he made the field goal. That makes sense.
I think it was actually 20-12. He sneaked it in one of the goalposts, a 51-yarder. But these 2 preseason games have made it look like Parker Romo is going to be your kicker, which is something I was not seeing, and I'm going to call in, back in OTAs. I thought Borregales was the lock to be the kicker, and then preseason has shown us something differently. And then Julian Ashby kind of
Julian Ashby
busted things up too.
Yeah, he busted up with a bad snap, which led to that whole Bryce Behringer having to recover that, and then that led to that bad snap. But then again,
I think that might have been like nearly a muffed punt. It was
a muffed punt. I would blame that more on Julian Ashby, but
correct.
He's a rookie.
Oh yeah.
Because I did not think we would draft a long snapper.
He was like the first drafted apparently they said he was the first drafted long snapper in a long time too.
Since 2015 or because we drafted a long snapper back in 2015. Yep. And he's now with the Dolphins.
Yep.
Mr. Joe Cardona.
Yep.
It was the first long snapper drafted since 21. According to Wikipedia. The Wikipedia says 21.
Oh, well.
Don't trust Wikipedia.
Sometimes I don't trust Wikipedia.
Wikipedia is an F.
NFL drafted long snappers.
That doesn't seem right because generally long snappers are undrafted.
They are rarely drafted in the NFL.
But still, special teams, it was peculiar to me. One moment they were really good with like the punt returns and the kick returns. But when it came to like the opposing, that 80-yard kick return, that scared me a bit.
Yeah, but yeah, it was apparently was 2021.
Interesting, but what were your thoughts on the 80-yard punt return, the scary kick return from Minnesota, which fortunately
Cameron
points from that drive.
Cameron Cheeseman by Washington in the 6th round in 2021.
But yeah, Andy, what were your thoughts on that whole sequence with the 80-yard kick return from Minnesota, which only led to 3 points?
That was a statement by our defense. I mean, the fact that they could run that ball back 81 yards. That almost sounds like something last year's Patriots would have done. Have this amazing punt return, 3/4 the length of the field, and had to settle for a field goal. I mean, that is something an anemic offense does. And I'm not saying that the Vikings' second and third stringers are anemic per se, but that is a testament to a Mike Vrabel, Zach Core / Terrell Williams led offense, that they can come close to getting a team off the field after they make a play like that. I mean, like we said, the Vikings were held to a field goal that made the score 20-12. But yeah, I forget who made, was it actually Jennings who made the stop on that particular third down?
I think it was on Jennings. I don't know.
I think it was too.
Exactly. It had to be Jennings.
But yeah, that was good stuff.
It was between Jennings and Ponder, or maybe Swinson. I couldn't tell. It was a half sack.
It might have been
Jennings.
Both Jennings and Ponder.
They double teamed on it. Yeah, that vaguely rings a bell. But yeah, that was a good play right there.
And as we were recording this, we're about to head over to the winners and losers. And if you guys been sticking around, please make sure you smash the like if you haven't already. If you already subscribed, that's good. If you haven't clicked the like button, I'm really disappointed in you. And give them a message, Thomas, for what happens if you don't like the button.
You get an F.
That answers my question. But as we're recording this, the Jets are down 6-21 to the Giants, and we're playing the Giants next Thursday. So, what I tell you, Jets are going to jet.
100% the Jets are going to jet. I mean, really, on 98.5 on a Boston sports channel, They try to say the Jets are the second best team in the AFC East. I mean,
Please.
really? Yeah,
I'm
thank you,
sorry.
Thomas.
Please.
That's laughable.
Please.
like the only place for the Jets is like, what's the word for? Last place.
Oh, they have a better defense. They have, Garrett Wilson and, they have this and that. And they drafted, they have Olufashanu and
Armand Membu.
And they drafted
Membo,
Mason Taylor.
yeah. Like, they have a better offensive line. I was like, the Jets are going to fucking jet. Really? Like, remember the hype around them? Oh, they brought in Aaron Rodgers in 2023. 12.
And guess what? Guess what happened?
Whatever. He goes out with an ACL tear on the fourth play of the season opener. Down you go.
And last season, he's not even that good because it's the Jets. What else do you expect from the Jets? They're ass cheeks.
Exactly.
Hold up your letter again, Thomas. Yup.
I don't.
Yeah, and guess what now? They got Justin Fields. Like, no disrespect to Justin Fields. I love Justin Fields. But when you go to the Jets, the Jets are known to kill their quarterbacks, kill their best players.
And on top of saying the Jets were the second best team in the East, they weren't exactly fawning over Justin Fields, which is like, okay, you don't particularly like their quarterback, and yet on paper they're the second best team in the East. Say what?
Come on.
In the words of Liz Lemon from 30 Rock, Charlie.
Oh my God, Jameis Winston just passed a deep drive to Cambry to
Jameis Winston, really? That's sinking shit.
Why you say something to Jameis Winston?
Oh, no. I wasn't thinking of Jameis Winston. I was thinking of Deshaun Watson. Oh, my gosh. My bad. Oh, boy. I am tired.
But let's quickly
I was thinking of Deshaun Watson.
Let's just get to the winners and losers before this is going downhill.
We could discuss this at the end of the stream, but let's talk about the winners and losers.
Oh, my God. Really?
Let's just work on the winners and losers together. It's so easy. The winners are so easy.
Oh, they are. Effton Chisum, and Trevion Henderson, and Effton Chisum.
I got Will Campbell as my third winner.
Will Campbell, yeah. Not letting up any sacks today.
No sacks, no penalties, one pancake.
Definitely have Will Campbell's my winner at this point. Yes.
And you need to add something to the show, Thomas. Since you did an F, do an A.
If I could do that, that is. Let me do something here. Let's see. Let me do something like that.
But yeah, I really love Will Campbell. He looked a lot better than that previous game last week, but that was all due to miscommunication. But nonetheless, Will Campbell is our future at left tackle, bar none.
And my other two ups are Effton Chisum and Henderson.
That one is so easy. It was so easy. Another player I can think of as a winner, Mac Hollins. He had a
Mac Hollins. I was going to say Michael Hasty for my honorable mention, but why Mac Hollins?
Because Mac Hollins he made some impressive catches from Drake May. So in that first two drives, he looked really impressive. That tiptoe catch that he made, it was really impressive.
There you go.
Now that looks impressive.
There you go.
And now let's head over to the losers. We already know who our losers are.
We do. Oh, Kyle Duggar.
Yeah, that's not what I'm gonna go with there. I'm gonna say Dobbs.
Josh Dobbs. Okay, yeah, Josh Dobbs.
I don't disagree because Josh Dobbs still looked the same after last season.
Like I don't hate him, but
I know Austin's high. Austin, I know, is high on Dobbs, but
this is probably one of his bad preseason games. He is a
Vrabel guy, but I heard something that really made me puke this morning, and it was Oh, we got Joe Milton. Why are the Patriots questioning why they have Josh Dobbs instead of Joe Milton? Josh Dobbs is here because Vrabel trusts him to be a mentor for May, and he's not a diva. He's not a locker room cancer. But that's pretty much the only thing you can say for Josh Dobbs right about now.
There's one more question.
Yeah, like at sometimes Dobbs make good plays, he makes bad plays, but this is one of his bad games. Even though he played 106 passing yards, like that says something. Like you said, Andy, like he's no diva like what freaking Joe Milton is. He's not.
Speaking of Joe Milton, Tyler asked, "When are the Cowboys playing?" Oh, they're playing right now, and they're losing to the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, and guess what?
Let me look up the score.
Milton got sacked in the end zone.
Oh, Jesus. With the ball in his hands? Was it a safety?
It was a
safety. It's a safety.
You've got to be kidding me, Thomas. A fucking safety. Like, oh my God.
It's a safety. It's a damn safety.
And look at his stats. It's gonna be a double F when you hear this.
They're only down 18-10.
But
yeah, they were down 18-7 the last time I checked.
With Joe Milton.
Okay, but let me get this straight. Twitter's buzzing with a 49-yard Milton to Mingo bomb that set up a field goal.
Mingo is the bomb. Well, that's the reason why Carolina got rid of him. But as I was saying about Joe Milton,
like I don't want to hear about Joe Milton throwing another bomb. I just don't.
Exactly. No, I was going to say
just like these morons. I mean, really.
But here is where I'm going to go with the stat line. You're going to love this. Joe Milton completed for 6 out of 14 for 81 yards and 1 interception.
Today. And yet somehow all the Twitter sphere can do is highlight his one good play to a nobody.
One good play to a bum.
Exactly.
Yeah, if I could do an F in the middle finger,
Jonathan Mingo, really? Okay, enough about that twerp. But yes, the Cowboys are playing right now, Tyler.
Joshua Dobbs is one of our losers. Another loser I have is Javon Baker because 0 for 6 before he made that impressive catch. 0 for 6 in targets.
And essentially you can now say Javon Baker is
a cut candidate. Yes.
Correct.
He is definitely a cut candidate. Because why are we still letting this guy be in our team when he has clearly done nothing? He hasn't made any impressive plays in special teams. That makes it even more interesting.
No, all he did last week was be a gunner. I mean, you really want to keep him on for gunner? Probably not.
No.
He did nothing.
Yeah, he did absolutely nothing.
Diddly squat. Bupkis, zilch.
While looking at him.
No, Joe Milton. I'm sorry, Paperwave. Put that comment on the screen here for Paperwaves. Put
you
that
get
comment
a punishment of Thomas's letter.
Put that comment over there.
He's being facetious. We know that's Tyler being facetious right there.
Joe Milton is a future, but on the bottom of the Canadian Football League.
Did he actually say that?
He said it right here, of the Canadian Football League.
Oh, jeez. Oh.
But I have another loser. And it doesn't have to do with the football players nor the coaches. Here's my other loser. The Vikings broadcast is the other losers. And I'll explain why. Rob mentioned it himself in his Instagram post.
You told me about this.
I have no idea what they were talking about.
You told me about this.
Enlighten me. What happened?
He got confused with like Baker making he called Chisum short guy. I'm sorry, what?
What?
You called him an impressive guy.
This is a Vikings broadcaster.
Vikings
Yes.
broadcasting.
This is a broadcaster who calls Chisum, quote, the short guy.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The Vikings commentary group is completely a lot of bias towards their team instead of just focus on commentating the game. You get an F.
And you know what also gets another F? The fact that you have male cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not giving that an F at this point. No.
That's an F minus, if not a G or an H.
That for that grade, NA. The NA. I'm sorry. I'm not going to discriminate anything about male cheerleaders at this point.
Yeah, neither do I. But it's them. But let them do it.
Yeah, but not only the Vikings commentary group get an F.
The
they
fans
get
get Okay, not that far. But I know what you mean. The fans should also get an F because they were whining. They were moaning about.
It wasn't an interception. It was a fumble. Refs called it. It's like, okay.
Like it's a touchback. It's a touchback. I'm sorry.
What was it I said? It's like a couple of years we've all gotten pissed when we had calls go against us, and it's like, still, I mean, the other fan bases in the NFL all remember our dynasty like it was yesterday, and whenever a call goes our way in a one-score game, they'll be pissed. And I think even though it was a preseason game, this is something we haven't seen in a while. We don't see an opponent's fan. We have not seen an opponent's fan base going off like this since we were good.
I've never heard that either, but
Me
yeah,
neither.
I feel
What?
like this is.
You haven't heard what?
No, I never heard like the opposing fan bases acting like this, even during outside
really?
of the dynasty, like the Vikings fan base, like they were.
Not the Vikings specifically, no, but it was.
And then earlier on Colby's channel, there were a couple of Jets fans that were saying, "Oh, we're frauds" and blah blah blah. But it's typical Jets fans.
That's a news flash, old hat.
But that's gonna be it for today's. Also, there's one more comment before we end the stream, and I think this will make us laugh. And this comment reminds me of Tim Tebow, and here's why. No, not that comment. This one.
Yes, Tyler. I said that from the week after he was drafted that Milton should have played tight end.
Facts.
And he reminds me of Tim Tebow.
Who was, and Milton, just like Tim Tebow was glorified basically because he was a gunslinger, but was built like a tight end. But no, I mean, I think I might have actually found a clip of Joe Milton playing tight end, and he wasn't bad, but no, he had to be a quarterback. Oh boy.
But that's going to be it for today's live stream.
Bring up Luke's comment again, though, just real quick, though. Oh, yeah. Vikings have male cheerleaders, bro.
Yeah.
And clearly fans are not a fan of it. But I'm not against male cheerleaders, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not against male cheerleaders, but but the NFL getting criticized for that, that's the fan base's problem. That's the league fan base's problem.
Okay.
But that's going to be it for today's show. Thank you, Thomas, and thank you, Andy. This was actually a great trio that we had, and we should do this for like future streams. It was unfortunate that Austin couldn't make it because he had plans. Because it is what it is. But as usual, thank you Thank you, boys, for
Things happen IRL, Austin. Sounds like you were listening in for at least a little bit. We appreciate it, buddy. We'll see you in one of our future live streams.
exactly. And we have so much more coming up throughout the entire month. Towards the end of the entire month, we got the Jared Wilson. I don't know when I want to do the Jared Wilson live stream. There will be one more post-game recap, and then we have a big production with the Will Campbell film breakdown. I just have to find out which days I want to do it. So,
and I'm away the 19th to the 25th. Dow, I think I told you that.
Yes. So the 21st. So that means I will have to do a little bit of hosting or panels roster changes, but it's going to be really interesting for the post-game recap against the Giants. But as you make your way out, please make sure that you leave a like on this live stream. Please hit subscribe if you haven't already. It's completely free and helps us grow as a community, and we appreciate the support. And leave a comment down below what your thoughts are on that Patriots Vikings game. And as always,
let's go Pats.
And don't get an F.